Principal Reviewer Bayo Atebe is with us in the studios. Bayo, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, Kingsley. Good morning.
Yeah, Bayo,
good morning,
to see you.
Yes,
You're welcome.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Weekend.
Yes.
Very well. So let's begin by taking a look at the window page of the Punch newspaper. And above the name flag, Auditor General queries NPA's 44 billion naira on remitted tax and 88 billion naira admin spending. 44 billion naira on remitted tax and 88 billion naira admin spending. That's on page 2. INEC projects 20 million new voters as CVR begins today. That's continuous voter registration. Federal government widens revenue base, plans taxes for global tech giants. APC power blocks begin battle. Buhari's defunct party eyes chairmanship. That's page 2. And the earpiece there is a running story. Super TV CEO, family threatens suit, alleges media publishing falsehood. And then the Blitz story comes with a double-decker headline, petrol landing costs hits 232 naira, subsidy rises to 5.58 billion naira daily. Two riders, April landing cost 216 naira, devaluation and rising crude price, fueling price increase. Rising subsidy payment reduces funds for infrastructure and development. That's according to Bismarck Rewani. Now, below the photographs there, you have following headlines: market demolition will worsen insecurity and ground economy. That's according to ACF, Arewa Consultative Forum. Protest continues as Uba claims APC ticket for Anambra governorship poll. No Borno local government is locked up over terrorism. That's according to Zulum's aide. Atiku Group wants ex-VP PDP's consensus presidential candidate. Atiku Group wants ex-VP PDP's consensus candidate. That should be ex-VP as PDP's consensus presidential candidate. FCTA worries over airport road, demolishes 349 illegal structures. Nigeria now a disputed project, stop fresh loans, Ukiwe, Akintoye, and others. Details on page 9. Kieran.
All right, now let's turn to the Daily Trust newspaper. The Daily Trust, insecurity, that's the kicker. Nigerians are traumatized. That's according to former President Jonathan. The story is on page 4. Also on page 4 is this: Buhari to Niger Delta Avengers, fresh threat unnecessary. 2023, Gombe stakeholders reject Goje's retirement and endorse him for Senate. That's on page 3. All right, the lead story on Daily Trust this morning: Boko Haram, others in mass recruitment of bandits. With 3 riders, leaders govern territories using Islamic codes. How they share logistics and intelligence. Government must disrupt incursion. That's according to experts. Okay. Below the photo story here, we have federal government will tax profits made by Twitter, Google in Nigeria. That's according to the Vice President Shimbajo. That's on page 3. Apeman to shut down filling stations over police attacks. That's on page 37. Prices of goods soar over Lagos Trade Fair market crisis. That's on page 20. 7 governors, ex-governors in Kano, to perfect plans for Buhari's son's wedding. That's on page 7. Bye.
Thank you, Kirin. Let's start with the story about the Niger Delta Avengers. President Muhammadu Buhari has advised that it is very unnecessary to propose fresh threat and hostilities in the Niger Delta, as indicated by the Niger Delta Avengers. Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says that most of the demands of the Niger Delta Avengers have actually been met. The demands are mainly development of Niger Delta and also restructuring. Incidentally, the threat is coming soon after the President had held a meeting with leaders of Niger Delta as well as Ijaw National Congress. The other story of worrying is related to Boko Haram recruiting bandits. Bandits are criminals who hide in the forest and attack commuters on various highways. And of recent, because of pressure on the insurgent Boko Haram, particularly after the death of Shekau, the activities are now gradually disappearing. And now they have to swell their ranks by recruiting bandits. So there is an alliance, as pointed out by the governor of Ekiti State some time ago, there is synergy between bandits and insurgents. And 3 of those groups have been identified. They include Jama al-Sunnah, the Dawati Jihad, otherwise known as Boko Haram. There's also Islamic State in West Africa province. The third is Ansaru Muslimina Bidali Sudan. These are the 3 groups that are now using Islamic codes to determine the way and life of people in the areas they have control over. Meanwhile, there has been some tremendous success on the side of the Nigerian army. Troops of the Nigerian army subdued bandits in Zamfara State in 2 occasions. In one location, troops of 8 Division came under fire along Mayanchi and Dogun Karfi and Fagantama villages. Brigadier Onyema Nwachuku, the spokesperson for the army, says that the bandits were neutralized. During another encounter at Bingi villages too, 5 bandits were also eliminated, and the soldiers recovered AK-47 rifles, motorcycles, and 3 mobile phones. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, has commended the combat resilience and also appealed to the communities in the area to provide troops with useful information so that they can carry on the ongoing onslaught and eliminate banditry completely. People of Amokwe, this is an area in Sapele, jubilated on Saturday when a notorious robber who is said to have been terrorizing their area was killed. When people jubilate about the death of an individual, you certainly can know that that individual has been a problem in that area. A 3-man gang led by Diamond, otherwise known as Foul Boy, who was operating in an area. So when there was distress call to the police went there and engaged them, and Foul Boy was neutralized. He is said to have terrorized the Sapele area for a long time.
What did you call that place again?
The Sapele.
No, there's no.
the nickname of the guy.
Yes. No.
The locality.
The locality.
Amokwe.
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 Amokwe,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm sure that our producer today is actually from that location.
I see.
I'm sorry, so he will be chuckling when you said Amokwe.
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 But the interesting story now is that Foul Boy, who has been threatening our compatriots there, has now been
That's the good
neutralized.
story from there.
Yeah. There's the other story that Kirian read. I don't have it on the front page. It has to do with the threat by Ipman to shut down all their filling stations on account of alleged police harassment of their members. I just wonder sometimes, how we seek to redress our grievances. The fact that you have power doesn't mean that you should misuse that power. If you shut your filling stations, the next thing will, of course, panic buying, fuel queues all over the place. You will be losing money in the first instance. But aren't there procedures for redressing such issues?
Grievances, yes.
I mean, if the police are actually harassing the members, first of all, you escalate your complaints to the police authorities. When the police authorities are unhelpful, you escalate. The presidency is available. National Assembly is available. The media is also there. It is not just that, I don't know, it is possible that they may have attempted to use all of those other channels, but to simply have a recourse to say you're going to shut down your filling stations so that once motorists begin to suffer on account of fuel scarcity, then people will listen to you. I think that we ought to begin to ask ourselves this question much more seriously. What is your first recourse?
It has become a tradition in this country for group of professionals,
To hold everybody to ransom.
hold people to ransom, take to strike, at every inch of provocation, right? But what Kingsley said is very apt, because if they explore the other channels of where the issue can be addressed, that's much better than shutting down. Well, I'm not sure they're serious about that, Kingsley. I'm not sure they're going to shut down just like that.
Well,
Just police
I mean, until it happens, and then we are panicking. Are you with me?
I was talking about another 7 gunmen that attacked one Lukman Ibrahim along Ojuku Road in Offa. He was coming with his wife and father-in-law and his son in the car, and 7 gunmen swooped on him, shot his wife. The wife died on the spot. Upon being taken to the hospital, the mortuary, she was confirmed dead and buried the next day. But they took away Lukman Ibrahim. And if you recall, it's the same offer where you had on 5th of April 2018, where 33 persons were killed, 9 of them police officers. When broad daylight, gunmen went into that ancient city and shot at people. It's becoming a recurring decimal for offer every 4 years. This time now is 3 years ago now. After that offer robbery, now you're having this one. Before that time, almost every 4 years, you had recurrence of such criminality on a higher scale. Meanwhile, the Kwara State Police Command say they are on the heels of the criminals and they are trying to get the man rescued. There's interesting story coming from Anambra State. It's been very, very busy weekend with primaries. The chairman of all the Progressive Congress election panel, which is the governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, had announced that Andy Uba as the winner of the primaries. He said that Andy Uba pulled...
For APC, right?
Yeah, for APC. Pulled 230,210 votes to beat John Bosco Onwuko, who was second. But the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has proposed that another primary should be held again on June 23rd. Why? Because it is said that 11 out of the 14 APC aspirants contended that the primary did not hold. If that is surprising to you, wait and hear that of the People's Democratic Party. Valentin Ozigbo is the winner by one faction, and Senator Ugochukwu Uba is winner on another faction. 2 factions held separate governorship primaries. Again, Abuja Federal High Court had on Friday ruled sacking the Anambra PDP executive. Then the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, has chosen Professor Charles Soludo, who scored 740 votes to beat 3 other candidates. And guess what? Nevertheless, a faction of ABGA says that they have announced the expulsion or suspension of Professor Charles Soludo. So far, it is only the Young Progressive Party, YPP, that held a delegate of 108 and chose their standard bearer by voice vote. Senator Patrick Ifeanyi is the sole candidate.
But anybody who's been observing the type of politics played in Anambra State won't be surprised, at the outcome of these primaries, because that is always a tradition in that part of the country. George Moralo, who also contested that, also came up to say that there was no primaries for APC. But I'm wondering if a governor of a state, chaired such election, how come they're claiming that the election was not held? I don't want to believe the fact that, if a governor is trusted by the party to organize primaries in Anambra State, that he will just come up and announce a name without any contest. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Did the APC conduct direct primaries? Or
This is option A for they used.
No, that's the matter, whether direct or indirect. If you say, if it is direct, it means that members of the APC chose the candidate. If it is indirect, it means that members of the party would earlier have chosen delegates who would now come to a delegates conference and then select. Because they said Andy Uba scored over 200-something thousand votes. I don't know. The truth of the matter is, Kirian, you have already said it. And during the last governorship election in Anambra, there were 37 governorship candidates. Each one almost the equivalent of each state of the federation plus the federal capital territory. So this year, we will see how many of them will come out, and usually, there's litigation as to who's the rightful candidate, which faction of the party is the rightful faction to conduct the primary, who comes out. So these are pre-election matters, and they will drag on and on and on. And after a while, you don't be surprised somebody gets sworn in, or even before the person is sworn in, while doing rehearsal, you are told that the Supreme Court has given a certain decision. So you just, sometimes you allow this, I'm sorry, I mean, with the greatest respect to all the players, this charade to play itself out, and then you get going. Bayo,
Good news about refinery.
Bayo, we will have to, we will have to
tell
pause.
you that Edo Modular Refinery is ready and very soon will be coming upstream.
Has it become operational?
That's what I was going to
No,
say.
Well, that's
Nigeria is
around
not
the
a
Olugbo area. That's good news.
for
We will have